Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to yet another patch notes video for Asphalt Legends Unite. Today we got the Festive Fury patch notes and I'm gonna make this video a little bit different. I know in previous videos I would go into some detail about all of the little quirks and features, reference there if you got it, of the update, but today I'm gonna go over just sort of my thoughts and opinions on some of the more major additions to the update. Now part of that is because a lot of the features I already talked about in my previous news video, which you can check out on my channel. It was the last video I uploaded, so of course all of those features are coming within today's update, but also in terms of the nitty-gritty details of the events, I don't think are super duper important for me to verbally let you guys know about, because if you're really interested you can always check the notes in the description down below where I'll link the patch notes website. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get on to the new features. So firstly, there is an Avenged Sevenfold collaboration, which is awesome. I didn't hear of this metal band until this collaboration was announced, but there's going to be a collaboration with the Avenged Sevenfold band, especially with the boss mode time limited event coming later on, which we discussed in a previous video like I mentioned. And there's going to be some decals themed around the band in addition to some of their songs being added to the game. So this is pretty similar to that funk collaboration that we had earlier in the year, and I'm really enjoying these. Again, exposing me to some new music as well, but also just really cool for the community who likes that type of music. So hopefully we can see more of these in the future. As I talked about in the last video, we do have the new Chicago track. Don't have any gameplay of that yet, but as soon as I do have access to the track, I'll be uploading it for you guys. Probably going to be with the release of the Drive Syndicate, which we'll talk about later. That's usually when the new track is available to play. We also have the new co-op team racing mode in multiplayer, again discussed heavily in the previous video, in addition to the boss mode time limited event. I assume this won't be a one-off for the Avenged Sevenfold collaboration. They'll probably be using this mode for other things as well. Alright, so let's get onto all of the new cars, which I know you guys have been waiting for, and first up we have the Pininfarina Teorema. I'm probably mispronouncing this, but either way, the Teorema is a pretty decent S-Class car, and it's actually available in-game, and you can see that it fits 5 whole people. So this is a virtual reality rendered, I guess, transportation autonomous vehicle or something like that. Now, I know a lot of people are very upset about this type of car being added to Asphalt, but honestly, this is why I play this game. There are all sorts of wacky cars that aren't included in your traditional racing game. So personally, I'm really excited to see something like this, and hopefully we see more of these wacky concept cars in future updates. And this is yet another request for Asphalt to add some sort of minivan or giant SUV and truck, because doing barrel rolls with those cars would be so fun. Alright, so enough talking about that, let's talk about the stats, because it's pretty mid-tier in terms of S-Class. It sits right below the Fenner Super Sport, so not super trashy like the Centenari or those low S-Class cars, but also nowhere near the top of S-Class. Its standout feature is, I would say, the combination of top speed and handling. It does seem a bit better compared to the Fenner, which we do know has weak handling, but you can never really predict the handling of S-Class cars. So honestly, this is going to rely on just getting our hands on it to see how it feels. Next up, we have something that confused me a little bit, because I honestly thought we already had this car in this game, because it looks like yet another McLaren that looks like every other McLaren in existence. This is the McLaren Sabre, a pretty decently ranked A-Class car. It's right in between the 007S and the Pagani Zonda R. Now, the standout feature is definitely the acceleration. It tops out at 87. The top speed is pretty mediocre at 225, but if you combine it with its pretty decent handling and nitro in addition to that acceleration, it seems like this could be a pretty good monster for multiplayer. I don't think it matches the Glickenhaus's 007 acceleration just yet, but either way, it is a very well-rounded A-Class car. Next up, we have the Ford Shelby Super Snake, and I know one YouTuber who's going to be very happy about this addition, but I do love the fact that basically a souped up Mustang is ranked way higher than that type of McLaren Sabre, whatever thingy that was. But yeah, anyway, this is a very high ranked A-Class car. It sits in between the Genti Aquilon and the FV Frangivento Asfane, so it's pretty darn good in terms of rank. You could see its standout feature is just a combination of everything, kind of like that McLaren, but we do have very decent acceleration at 85, pretty decent top speed, the same one as the Sabre at 220, 125, but you can see the handling in Nitro is very good as well. So again, one of those cars that I can imagine is going to be very good in multiplayer if you can get one of those handling focused tracks. Because it has a fairly low top speed compared to those A-class Kings, I'm not sure how well it'll fare on like Cairo and Himalayas, but overall it is very well rounded. Next up, we have a very middle of the road B-class car. This is the Porsche 911 Turbo 50 Years Edition. And honestly, I'm very excited to see one of the very new generations of 911 back into Asphalt. We do have a couple other 911s, of course, but it's just nice to see. Now, this is another middle of the road B-class car, like I mentioned. So as you'd expect, it is going to be the Unite Pass car for this update. Nothing really stands out too much about this car. The top speed at 213 is nothing to write home about. The nitro at just below 60 is also not that great. So honestly, I'm not really sure where this car is going to excel except for, well, the acceleration, because once you get past 80, you do have some decent acceleration performance. Moving right along to the Jaguar XKRS GT, this is another middle of the road car, this time in C-Class. It sits right between the V12 Speedster and the Rezvani Beast X, so yeah, not really going to be a king or anything like that. Its top speed tops out at just about 200 miles per hour, so nothing crazy there, and you can see the acceleration, handling, and nitro are also nothing to write home about. So I think this is one of the Drive Syndicate cars, so that's probably where this car is going to fit in. So hopefully everyone will be able to get this car pretty easily, but nonetheless, not anything too crazy there, but nice to see another Jag in the game. Next up, we have the figurative D-Class King that was upgraded to a literal D-Class King with the DS E-Tense performance. So this is basically the DS E-Tense we know and love, but turned up to 11. You can see the acceleration is going to top out at 86, which is really insane for a D-Class car. That top speed is still nothing too crazy at just about 188. Again, you're going to go around 198 with nitro. So again, not really beating the likes of the TVR or anything like that with top speed, but pretty good nitro. Not as good as the original D-Tense, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm a bit curious to see how this is going to stack up against the other top speed Kings, but also against the other D-Class performance Kings like the 004C and the Mustang Mach-E. Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, we have the second Batmobile to be added. This is the Racer Tachyon Tartarus, and it is the new king officially in terms of rank for Asphalt Legends Unite, sitting just above the Devil 16. So clearly the acceleration of 90 is the standout feature. That is absolutely ridiculous for such a high top speed car. It does go over 300 and well over 300 at that. It will max out at 333. So combining that acceleration with that top speed is a little nuts. We already had a similar combination with the Devil 16. I thought the acceleration was pretty good with that car, but this takes it to a whole new level. So I'm never going to be able to unlock this car. I don't think most of you watching will ever be able to unlock this car, but it will be fun to maybe test around and drive in the new Drive Syndicate. And speaking of Drive Syndicate, we will have the Drive Syndicate 10 as we always do with Drive Syndicates around this time of year. Again, like I mentioned, the featured vehicle will be the Racer Tartarus, but we will also have supporting cars with the Koenigsegg CC850, the McLaren Sabre, the FV Frangivento Asvane, the Maserati MC20, and the starting car will be the Jaguar XKRS GT. I assume this time around it's going to work very similarly to all of the other types of Drive Syndicates that we have. There are previous editions that we are seeing make a return, but not anything commonly available. I have literally none of these cars already unlocked, so I am going literally nowhere this time around, which is really disappointing because last time I was able to just barely reach it to the A-Class step of the Drive Syndicate, but yeah, this time I don't think I'm even going to get past the Maserati. Alright, so I'm going to list out the cars that are making the return for the special events, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because frankly I don't really have many of the supporting cars. I'm not going to unlock any of these cars. I don't know if a lot of you guys will as well, but best of luck if you go for any of these. So this season we will see some special events for the Pagani Utopia Coupe, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport SE, the McMurtry Spearling, which I'm excited about, and there will be a Grand Prix for the DS E-Tense Performance, so that's how you're going to unlock one of those new cars. Now we also have a bunch of time limited events. Again, not going to go into crazy detail. We're going to have a treasure hunt, so on the track, if you smash into a gift box, you'll get a new gift every day as you log in. There's also going to be some Christmas decorations, which is actually really quite nice. I don't think we've had too many of those on the track, but we definitely had a lot of those in Asphalt 8, so I'm excited that they're bringing it back. Even though the Porsche 911 Turbo 50 Years is the past car, it will have its own time-limited event where you might be able to get some blueprints for it. There's also a Friday the 13th special event, which is quite interesting, or I should say time-limited event, and that will feature the Porsche Boxster. Now, as I mentioned earlier with that Avenged Sevenfold event, that will feature the Boss time limited event. So it's going to be that 1 versus 1 mode where the AI is very aggressive, but the featured cars are going to be the Porsche 911 Carrera RS 3.8, the Glickenhaus 004C, Kepler Motion, and the new Ford Shelby Super Snake. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to fully unlock that Shelby through this event, but I assume there will be some packs for it. There's going to be a December solstice event, a couple of holiday events featuring some other cars, the Drifting Away from 2024 event, the Flying High event, and a whole bunch of car hunts featuring the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR AMG, the McLaren Artura, the ATS Automobili Corsa RR Turbo, and the McLaren 600 LT Spider, which was voted on by the community. Next up, I'm going to talk about the new multiplayer rewards. Now, I talked about the sub-tier rewards in the previous news video. You're seeing the cleaner screenshot on screen now if you want to pause and take a look at that, but what I want to focus on mainly for this video is the rank rewards. So at the end of each round, of course, you get a reward depending on your rank. Usually it's some couple of blueprints for a specific car, some packs, and some currency. Unfortunately, this is where I'm a little upset because this time around, they seem like they are removing the specific blueprint awards, and instead you're just going to get a bunch more legend packs. So again, this is going to go based on your rank, so rank 1 to rank 10,000, that sort of thing. This time around, they're switching it up to give you packs and tokens. This is really disappointing to me because I really like the progression of being able to know exactly how many blueprints you're going to get for a specific car. Now, of course, they're thinking that it's compensated by the fact that you're getting a lot more packs, so more opportunities to get those blueprints, but honestly, I would prefer those guaranteed blueprints. There's also going to be an ability to get some multiplayer reward notifications, so just in case you miss any unclaimed rewards, this notification system should hopefully fix that. I mentioned in that previous video, again, the skip system for PlayStation and Switch users, so that is going to be added with this update. There's also some car balancing for the Devil 16, which I don't understand why I would care to mention because only 2 people in the entire universe have it. And my favorite part about that previous video was all of the private lobby improvements, so when I give the next stream a go, I'm very excited to try those out. There's also a whole new garage lighting and effect system, which honestly, I'm a little undecided about. I'm sort of not digging the whole lighter theme, and it does look like it's a little less detailed because it's so bright, but I'm sure I'll get used to it, and again, it's an improvement over the old one we had in Asphalt 9 either way. A couple of the old tracks such as Buenos Aires, San Francisco, Scotland, Rome, and Cairo got some upgrades. I also did notice that at least on my iPhone, the Caribbean track was super foggy, so I don't know if they included that in this update, but they added fog to that track. And there are a couple of new graphics options added for a few devices, especially on iOS and Android. Alrighty, so I know that's a bit of a long video, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't think I'm going to be able to unlock literally any of those new cars except for that Jaguar because everyone gets it at the start of the Drive Syndicate, so be sure to play it for at least that free car. But otherwise, I don't think I'm going to see any one of those cars in my garage within the next 5 years. Let me know what you guys think about the cars and the new features in the comment section down below. I will see you all later.